competing powerlifting, I had this big goal of making it to the national stage. Because when I found out the sport was all about the effort that you put into it, it's not a team sport in the sense that any failure is nobody else's fault besides your own. I was all in. I'm in control of how good I can be. And I've been an athlete my entire life, but I've been on some pretty bad teams. You know, Berlin was one of the worst sports teams I've ever played for in my entire life. And no matter how good I was at said sport, just success never came. And I'm somebody who likes to succeed. I'm not okay with saying you did your best. I gotta be better. So when I found out, hey, there's a national stage for a sport where you're in control of everything that you put in, that was good. I was ready. And when I started out, off the bat, I was already qualified to go to nationals, but I wasn't as good as I wanted to be because I was obsessed with this idea of you have to be the best or else you're not worthy of being up there. And that idea absolutely held me back for way too many years in my powerlifting career. And not that I have any regrets because my story has been nothing short of interesting, but I think it's finally time to put that aside. You can't be the best off the rip. The best lifters, they didn't just wake up in a matter of 2, 3 years. They were just at the top of their class. They didn't just move into a new weight class and just start spanking everybody. It's a process. You have to learn what you're good at, learn what you're not good at, and you're going to have to face better competition to get better. Although my goal was to win one of these things, winning it the first time up is not realistic. There's so much more to the sport than just lifting. So even when my numbers get to the point where I have somewhat of a shot at doing something, I'm still going to need the experience under my belt. So when I started, my goal wasn't exactly to just go. It was to do some damage, go claim a medal, go do something cool that shows like, yo, you do this for real. So I can't necessarily say that this is going to be accomplishing one of my goals, but it's definitely a step in that direction. Going to nationals was something that I've wanted to do for like the longest time, right? Like when I started powerlifting, it was like, this is the goal. I want to go there. I want to do this. I want to be up there on that podium. Like that is what I wanted to do. And technically, when I started powerlifting, I was good enough to just go off rip. But I got in my head and I let too many people try and dictate where I go, what I do, if I'm good enough, what I should do, what I need to be doing. And all those clashing different, things that came at me just completely threw me off from my goal. And at the time, I started powerlifting in 2024, right after I got cheated on by they who will not be named. And I was in no state to really add anything to my plate, right? That loss of relationship just fried everything that was going for me. I was not really in the position to go to nationals, so I had to put that off. I qualified for collegiate nationals, but there was no way, no shot that I was going to be able to prep again and make my second ever meet collegiate nationals in a span of like 4 months after going through a heartbreak. That wasn't going to happen. So we put CNATs off. All right, so we decided to do a local meet. We came back, took home a state record. That was pretty damn cool. So at that point, I'm going into my senior year. So collegiate nationals is, in my brain, it's like a lock. I can go. I'm most likely going to win the 60 kilo class. In my brain, it's like, that's what we got to do. But then I get back, I start training, and I'm feeling like dog shit. I'm not feeling good. My numbers aren't, they're regressing. Like weights that I used to be able to body, I wasn't even able to do them anymore. And like, it was a flat line. It was a straight up flat line. And talking to my coach and some of my other friends and other people that I've met in the powerlifting community, they're like, yo, you're like training at 8-9% body fat. That's not how that works. You're not going to be able to really build much more strength than you currently have because you're not adding to your frame. It's not really going to work out. It's going to be very slow. And with how young you are, you need to take advantage of your hormones and XYZ so that you can have a much higher ceiling later and you don't cap out so soon, right? Everybody and their mom's like, yo, that's it, bro. We've been telling you this for too long. You threw up because you cramped from cutting weight for your last meet, and you barely made weight for your first meet. That's a sign that you're done. That is straight up it for this weight class. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You and in my head I knew the answer as a coach and somebody who coaches athletes and understands fitness better than a decent amount of just the general gym bros. I knew it was time to bulk. And I didn't really want to believe that because I looked sick. Like my physique was S tier. And like I was still strong as fuck. And was I getting stronger? No. But I was all at that point, if I repeated the meet that I did in the summer, I'm still most likely going to win 60s because the top dog just switched federations to go to Worlds. So I'm like, why would I give this up? Everybody's telling me, pass it by, pass it by. You can do nationals later. Collegiate nationals is the biggest deal of your life, right? Which is true. It would have never been the biggest competition in my life in the grand scheme of things. But it still would have meant something to me to have a national medal with, that I earned on my own. So we fast forward my senior year and I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired of not like my friends are starting to catch up to my numbers and getting stronger than me. I'm like, I'm not having this, bro. And I let my ego get in the way. And I let everybody else tell me to bulk, get in my head and tell me to bulk. And I think that was the biggest mistake that I've made to this day. So essentially I bulk. And when I bulk, it's going to dog shit. Like my numbers are not moving. I'm just gaining body fat. I mean, I'm gaining muscle. I'm getting bigger, but it's not exactly translating to strength yet. So I'm like, dude, I'm cooked. I'm actually cooked. Like, there's not a damn shot that I'm going to be able to be good at this next weight class. Like, there's no way. So then I get the genius idea to just skip doing a local meet because my total at 60 qualified me for 67.5. So I skipped it thinking, oh, I don't need to compete at 67.5 to know what my body's going to feel like on the platform. And I signed up for regionals. And that was utter dog shit. That is, if I rank all of my meets, regionals is my least impressive one. And I will stand on that. I don't want to get into why, but that performance was way below anything that I thought. Like, basically I had a maximum and a minimum for what I thought I could do that day, and that was below the minimum for what I thought I'd be able to do that day. So I'm just like beating the can. I'm not really happy at all. It kind of just over the shoulder, move on to the next thing. I'm telling everybody, yo, this bulk was not worth it. I told you I'm not gonna be good in this. Like, I'm just not having it, and barely chipping the open QT for nationals. And I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna go to nationals. What business do I have being there if I'm not even good in this weight class? I have no business going just to go. I always talk about like, why the hell would you go to something like this if it's a lot of money, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of training. Why would you go if you're not good, right? And recently with the athletes that I've been coaching and with a lot of the people around me in the powerlifting community, I'm always pushing, like, compete. You're never going to necessarily be truly ready to get on the platform and do what you want, realistically. You're never going to be truly ready. So I'm just like, you know what? I gotta stay true to my word. I have to. I'm always preaching, step outside of your comfort zone, step outside your comfort zone, do something that you're not necessarily like normally used to doing. So it dawns on me that, like, all right, I have the opportunity. This is my last year as a junior. I would kick myself, if this opportunity passes me by and God forbid something happens where I have to take a break from powerlifting, right? And then the opportunity is just so far gone, and then I'm gonna be saying, "Damn, I wish I did that." And one of my biggest mottos to life is don't live life saying you wished you did something. Just do it. Like, as corny as it sounds, as stupid as it sounds, one of the mottos that I've always had is I don't want to look back at times and say, "Damn, I really wish that I did that." I never want to do that. So I'm just like, you know what? I can't be good at every single meet. I'm gonna have to lose some to win some. No, LeBron has lost in the finals how many times, but he's the GOAT. Like, you can pick whoever you want. LeBron is just my dog, so I can't. That's why I pick LeBron. But my point being, nobody's just born and given greatness. You have to work for it. You're gonna have to lose some. You're gonna have to fail a couple times. You're gonna have to get your ass kicked a couple times before you can be where you want to be. You don't just start doing something and tomorrow you're good at it. My videography business, I'm still learning. I'm gonna get there, but I didn't just pick up a camera or even content. I'm still learning. I'm still getting better at it. I've been doing it for a while, and every single year it gets better. I didn't just pick up this stuff like last week and say, "Yo, I'm gonna have 10K tomorrow." Like it would go against everything that I preach to not do this competition. I have the opportunity. I'm healthy enough. I'm coming back from an injury, and I'm finally in somewhat of a schedule that allows me to consistently train, sleep, and recover to the point where I can actually progress. So it just, in my brain, it's like, yo, you'd be a damn fool to not go. So, with that all being said, we're going to Nationals 2026. Now, I just would like to clarify that I'm not excited by any means, because this is going to be the first time that I am not that guy and I'm not top dog. But again, like I've been preaching this entire time, you're not just born into being top dog. You have to earn it. You got to get knocked around a couple times before you could be at the top. That saying of, how the fuck does that shit go? It's like the wolf climbing to the top of the mountain is hungrier than the one at the top. I guess that's how this goes for me. Like, there's no other way I can really say it. I'm not that good now, right? But considering for how long I've been doing it and where I currently am, I think I have the potential to eventually do something pretty damn tough one day. But gotta get my ass kicked first. So I'm gonna leave you with this. Step outside your comfort zone. Do something new, do something different, and stop putting things off. If it means something to you, you have one life and only so much time to do it. Don't let opportunities pass you by.